So basically previously I just mistaken not sharing the emoji yet from the Airplay of my iPhone 11, so that's the reason why I need to immediately pause. And yeah, there will be I'm not sure. There will be just a split of the footage which didn't represent my virtual face. So basically this is also pretty unnecessary video because I didn't have sufficient time to do the emoji, since I will most likely got some meeting in 25 minutes, 24 minutes, and this video is around 23 minutes remaining. So that's the reason why I only get 1 minute gap, and hopefully I don't get interrupted. So basically this is just the previous process during the first, when I first insert the Watchdog Legion, which need to download the game, and for some reason I just don't get it why I actually try to record this, because the download itself needs to take 4 hours. So I just don't get it. Maybe I eventually try to skip it, but maybe the copying data from the Blu-ray disc into the hard drive itself is also not finished for some reason. And to be honest, it is pretty scary during this time, because if it is not able to be copying the data, so basically it was a broken Blu-ray disc, and it is pretty scary to have those, because in order to use the play disc itself you still need the data, and I'm not sure how can we try to move the data. So basically we definitely need some data from other hard drive that already consists of this game, and I just don't know whether there is people basically sell that or not, because yeah, it is need many purchases again, maybe for the drive itself that can contain this game for around 60 gigabyte, and also the price for the backup data itself. So yeah, I just can imagine maybe I can actually try to run Blu-ray this, but yeah, still definitely need some deposit, which is basically the same price of the Blu-ray disc itself. So yeah, it's pretty annoying if it is not possible, because the last time that I tried that have similar condition like this is basically when I tried to order a very cheap Blu-ray disc, which is the FIFA 18, which is shown on the screen as well. So I think it is not FIFA 19, it is FIFA 15. So it's very old games, maybe one of the first FIFA that was released on PlayStation 4 perhaps, not sure. So basically those games is only cost me for around $1 for the second hand, and yeah, it took very long to copying the data from the Blu-ray disc into the hard drive. I think the Blu-ray is not really in the good condition anymore, perhaps, I'm not sure. So that's the reason why I am actually quite afraid about this, and that's the reason why I try to record it all the time using Zoom, even though I'm not sure whether if I can do this as an unboxing video or not, because yeah, it's just a process of first inserting the data, not the unboxing itself. So yeah, but thankfully it is all working fine eventually. So yeah, that's the reason why. Because yeah, this took me for around $20 perhaps for the second-hand games, since it is still considered new games, even though the new game itself is not really that high anymore. But for some reason, the second hand is always sold, even though it didn't have a lot of price differences. I just don't get that. At the time that I tried to sell this, which is already successfully as well, it's not reduced pretty significant in terms of the second hand, but it is still, there are so many people that basically sell in a pretty similar price, but maybe I'm the one that other buyer try to prioritize because I have already got the membership of those marketplace, which basically can give them benefit of free shipping and also cashback, perhaps, I'm not sure. So even though I was technically sell $2 more expensive, which is around $18, and so I was also reducing the price at the time that I buy for around $2. So yeah, that's the reason why. Especially when I try to bundle it with the Grand Theft Auto 5, which is also $2 cheaper than most of the people that try to sell. That's the reason why it's just immediately gets sold. But yeah, I don't really regret it since I have basically tried to focus playing Grand Theft Auto online on my PC, which is a little bit make me addicted, even though I eventually not record all of the footage or stream into the Twitch because yeah, just pretty lazy to plug in the HDMI video capture or even open the OBS itself directly in the True Agent or the GPD with max to 6800U itself, and yeah, that's the reason why. As you can see, it seems to be not giving any differences in terms of the storage, I guess. So as you can see, the Watchdog Legion is still marked as 74 kilobyte, which is the same size when we are still in the process of copying the data into the hard drive. So it is just pretty scary to see that, and yeah, that's the reason why I just keep recording over and over again, even though it is basically wasting my storage and also my time on creating this emoji, because I just don't want to waste this video, just like when I try to keep uploading any kind of game footage that I already recorded, including this last Sleeping Dogs, which I've already done several times with the exact same problem missions. So yeah, it is just pretty wasting my time, but oh well, because basically creating this kind of emoji is a little bit make me satisfied, because even though later it will definitely not giving many viewers yet, but maybe it's just my hobby that basically try to represent all of my talks against something, even against the video especially, but it can also be in other things related to my life or my experience that I currently or just recently had. So yeah, that's the reason why. It's still 14 minutes remaining, so it's definitely pretty close to my meetings. And then for some reason the HDMI video capture is a little bit disconnected, but it's just immediately connected again. I just don't get it. But yeah, since I was actually recording this on the different Zoom accounts, so my profile picture is not immediately shown. So, but I still definitely need to cut those footage, perhaps, I'm not sure. Because yeah, I definitely still need to cut the early or the first emoji footage of this video. Since yeah, I'm just so in a hurry and I didn't realize that I'm still not opening the emoji yet. Because I'm currently backing up the data, the usual or weekly backup for the WhatsApp messages, which I always try to done because yeah, I've already subscribed into the cheapest iCloud storage, which I basically don't really use it because I don't really like to capture moments or using my phone, which basically wasting my storage. So that's the reason why, unlike most people, basically had a lot of photograph in their iPhone, which basically at the same time it's also wasting the storage on their iCloud. So eventually they need to subscribe a more expensive subscription. So yeah, that's the reason why. And for me, $1 every month is already wasting some money for unnecessary stuff, because I basically only use maybe 20% of the storage from the maximum 15 GB. And basically it's okay, since maybe it still prepare for another device which I eventually own on the future. So yeah, it's pretty good to have those kind of spare. So WhatsApp backup data is also obviously getting bigger, but since it is most likely just a text data, so it does not really have that differences. Because the reason why I didn't like WhatsApp is because the image data or any kind of media files will eventually save into local storage instead, and even though we can actually make it not available on the regular Photos app, so it's only in the WhatsApp core application data, which we cannot see unless we are trying to use an official file manager in order to open the core data of the WhatsApp application, and then yeah, you can see WhatsApp is actually storing those files, and yeah, rather than in the cloud like other favorite messaging application that I also still use right now, even though most people try to started to abandon it and started to migrate to a regular common WhatsApp, which is basically used by various kind of people. And yeah, there's still 9 minutes remaining. So even though the advantage of not using or not storing in the cloud is, of course, it will never be expired, even though it eventually can expire when you try to move the device into new devices. So that's pretty annoying. But as messaging has always been the Telegram, because it's just 100% cloud, and yeah, there's a lot of media files that try to be stored there. So that's the reason why there are many communities try to create a group in those messaging as well. And it is most likely like a Discord, but in a more friendly user interface, because I don't really like Discord user interface, especially when I try to use it on the mobile phone. It's just not meant to be like that, because it's have a similar user interface like many company messaging, such as Slack. But company messaging is just for a single entity, while the Discord have as much as you can join. So that's the reason why I really don't like it as well. So I really like it, the Telegram, but it's still technically getting heavier, especially when I try to install it on my own iPhone 6s Plus. And there are so many groups that I have already joined, so every time I try to open the messaging, it's always gives so many notifications, even though it was actually silent. But yeah, there are so many messages that I need to skip, and that's really made the phone a little bit heavier. And even though everything was actually stored on the cloud, but in order to make the applications in terms of internet connection, there's still basically a gauge that was stored in the device. So that's the reason why the Telegram application is also getting bigger at the time you use continuously use. But I think there is still so many spare on my iPhone 6s storage, since basically it is the biggest storage that used to be available on the iPhone 6s, and it is actually on mine as well, because I was getting it from my brother for free. So yeah, it was used to be a kind of broken iPhone, because I cannot use the cellular data anymore, because the iCloud password are just forgotten previously. So yeah, that's the reason why I definitely buy it likely, because I know it's the previous owner, and yeah, that's the reason why I try to bypass it in order to use the iPhone, even just for a Wi-Fi connection, which is basically still enough. Since I can actually use order messaging dedicated for the phone as well natively, because the numbers can actually store on my order working cellular data iPhone, just like the one that I use for this emoji, because it had a dual SIM, even though it's not dual nano SIM card. So one of it is just an eSIM, so it's like an injected CDMA number that used to be available, but sadly right now it is no longer available, and they only try to provide eSIM in the same GSM network. So yeah, no, there's only one provider, I guess, that can provide it, but I'm not sure, because yeah, some people still try to stick with the physical SIM card, which is basically not that convenient, especially when you try to migrate into another phone that also no longer supports SIM card for the both of the dual SIM, so you just cannot utilize it. And yeah, there's 4 minutes remaining, but my phone's battery is only reaching 81%. Hopefully it's not below 80%, because right now my iPhone is already upgraded into the iOS 16 as well, which I can obviously see the battery percentage on live during when I try to create this emoji. So maybe I can more utilize it and adjusting my time, not doing another if it is already in the boundary of the low power mode, which will automatically turn off every time we already charge it above it. So yeah, that's the reason why. So it's definitely running smoothly, and I think it eventually success, even though the download of the additional data is not yet downloaded, since most likely I only, so I eventually not skip it, and yeah, I think the rest of the 3 minutes will eventually finish moving the data into the hard drive. So I obviously use the external hard drive that actually come from the previous owner as well, which is just a regular 2TB 2.5-inch hard drive from Western Digital, I guess. But yeah, it is definitely smaller than the one that actually released as an enclosure, or even the Seagate, which is a little bit bigger. So that's the reason why I think most likely if I try to buy another hard drive, I will definitely consider the size, because it is pretty convenient to have smaller size, because I used to bought the official hard drive case and it's still not really fit perfectly with those big hard drive. So yeah, finally the copying from this is complete, and you can finally start the application, which in a different zoom footage, because yeah, it will gonna be pretty long, which is 1.5 hours of the prologue, because I never thought that it will still a prologue, but it is actually no longer a prologue, because yeah, we don't actually need to finish it, and it just continue like that. So I'm still not realizing that the process is already finished, perhaps because I would definitely try to abandon it, and yeah, I finally come back and see that the update files is actually not moving at all. So maybe it's just restored, I just don't get it. But of course the application of the Watchdog Legion is already shown correctly, and as you can see, it is still on 31GB, because the updates, the 22GB is not yet installed. So even though most likely those updates is just for the DLC, which I've actually not had, but they still need to be downloaded for some reason as an update, so that's the reason